My name is Sundeep Singh Boparai. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I'm from Queens, New York. I'm a queer Sikh activist, a healthcare administrator, and someone who's dedicated my life to creating visibility and acceptance for LGBTQ plus individuals, especially within the South Asian community. This is my story, a story of struggle, self-discovery, and ultimately liberation. The moment that changed everything. It was a crisp afternoon in Queens, and I was sitting at our long dining room table, buried under a mountain of textbooks and notes. I was a senior in undergrad, studying for my finals, and the stress was palpable. My mom was in the kitchen, preparing lunch, the comforting aroma of a luparda and chai filling the air. She walked over to the table, placing a plate of food in front of me, and started chatting. "Oh my God, I can't wait until you graduate," she said, her voice brimming with excitement. "It's going to be so great. We'll find you a partner, and we'll have a fantastic wedding." I froze. My heart started racing. I knew this conversation was coming. It was inevitable in our culture. But I wasn't ready. I looked up at her and asked, half jokingly, "Who am I marrying?" She smiled and said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll put your biodata in the matrimonials back home in India." That's when I realized I couldn't keep hiding. I took a deep breath and said, "Mom, I'm gay." Time seemed to stop. The room fell silent. My mom, who had been bustling around just moments before, became completely still. Then she started crying, hysterically. I didn't know what to do. My brother walked in, saw her crying, and immediately looked at me. "I told Mom," I said. He nodded and said, "Do you want to take a minute? Do you want to go somewhere for the day? Let me talk to her." I packed up my books, called my cousin, and spent the day at his house, trying to process what had just happened. When I returned that evening, my mom had calmed down. She looked at me and said in Punjabi, "If Waheguru created you this way and this is the path he chose for you, who am I to question what he made?" That moment was a turning point for me. It wasn't just about her acceptance. It was about realizing that my identity was valid, even within the framework of my faith and culture. Growing up in a complex family, my family has always been complicated. My parents were both married before and had children from their first marriages. My dad left my mom when I was 7 or 8 years old, and that absence shaped a lot of my childhood. I didn't have the easiest relationship with him, but I still tried to maintain some connection. Years later, while I was working at the World Trade Center Health Program, I decided to come out to him. I hoped it would bring us closer, but unfortunately, the interaction didn't go well. It became violent, and I left feeling more isolated than ever. That experience made me realize something. If this could happen to me, a queer Sikh man with a supportive mom and a degree, there must be hundreds, maybe thousands, of other queer Sikhs going through similar struggles. And no one was talking about it. Finding my voice through social media, I knew I had to do something. I wanted to create a platform where people like me could feel seen and heard. That's when I met a photographer who was just starting out. I told him about my idea, and he offered to help me create content. We did a photo shoot where I wore my turban, a symbol of my Sikh identity, and shared the pictures online. The response was overwhelming. Within minutes, the photos were being reshared by people with blue check marks, South Asian celebrities, and even strangers who resonated with my story. But along with the support came hate. People criticized me, questioned my faith, and told me I was bringing shame to my community. But I didn't let that stop me. I knew that visibility was important, even if it came at a cost. Building a career in healthcare. While I was building my social media platform, I was also pursuing a career in healthcare. I graduated with a master's in healthcare administration from Hofstra University and started working at Northwell Health as a front desk receptionist. Over time, I worked my way up to the World Trade Center Health Program and eventually became the administrator of Northwell's HIV service line. A month before COVID hit, I was offered the opportunity to help open a transgender program within the health system. I hesitated at first, I'm not trans, and I didn't want to take space from someone who was. But my director encouraged me, saying, "Your passion and hard work speak for themselves. You'll do a great job." So I took the role, and together with Dr. Rosenthal, we built the program from the ground up. It opened in June 2020, during the height of the pandemic, and became a beacon of hope for the community. Patients would come in and say, "For this hour, I can just be myself." That's when I realized how much this work mattered. Continuing the fight, even with all these accomplishments, I felt like I needed to do more. I decided to go back to school and am currently pursuing a doctorate at the Medical University of South Carolina. Through this journey, I had the honor of meeting Admiral Rachel Levine, the first openly transgender federal official in the U.S. We had incredible conversations about gender-diverse issues, and it was one of the proudest moments of my academic career. Why I do what I do. At the end of the day, my goal is simple. I don't want any queer Sikh child to feel the way I felt growing up. I want them to see someone like me, someone who's queer, Sikh, and unapologetically themselves, and think, if they can do it, so can I. This journey hasn't been easy. There have been moments of pain, rejection, and self-doubt. But there have also been moments of joy, connection, and triumph. And through it all, I've learned that my identity is my strength. It's not something to be hidden or ashamed of. It's something to celebrate, a message to anyone struggling. If you're out there reading this and feeling alone, I want you to know this. You are not alone. Your identity is valid and your story matters. It might not feel like it now, but there is a community out there waiting to embrace you. And if you can't find that community, create it. Be the person you needed when you were younger. As for me, I'll keep fighting for visibility, for acceptance, and for a world where everyone can live their truth without fear. Because that's the world I want to see. That's the world we all deserve.